Hi lovely people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aliyah, and on today's tutorial I'm gonna show you how I draft this beautiful sleeve you see right here. I don't know if I should call it a scrunchy sleeve because it looks so much like a scrunchie to me. Anyways, it's just an inspiration I found on Pinterest and I decided to try it out. It's so simple and easy to make, and if you want to learn how to make it, stay tuned and keep watching this tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be drafting our sleeve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be showing you the measurements we'll need in drafting our sleeve right here. So we're going to need our around arm measurement. So the around arm is just basically your upper arm right here. So you go ahead and measure it. Mine is about 13 inches. And then the next one you need is your wrist measurement. So on your wrist, just around here, just go ahead and place the tape around there like so. Mine is about 7 inches right here, so whatever you have, just write it down. And we're also gonna need our sleeve length. So the sleeve length is just from your shoulder to where your wrist is. We're going to be drafting a full basic sleeve. So when we're done drafting it out, then we'll go ahead and cut out the length we need for our puff sleeve. Okay, so mine is about 23 inches. When I measured my shoulder to my wrist, I had about 23 inches, so we're just going to maintain that. And then we'll also need our arm side. So with the arm side, is from the upper arm, that's somewhere here, like midway, your shoulder, all the way to the back underarm. Okay, so just like the image, that's how you're going to be taking the measurement for your arm side. Okay, so I'm just going to be showing you an easy way to draft the sleeve. It's very easy. Well, if you also have a way you draft your sleeve and you want to go about it, you can also go about it like this, or you can also follow what I'm doing. So this is the top right here, this is the center front. So I'm gonna go ahead to draft out a half scale sleeve. So instead of a full sleeve, I'll be drafting half of it. Okay, so when we are done drafting it and we cut it out, we'll place our fabric on fold and then spread our pattern on it. Okay, so if your arm side, when you measure your arm side and you have about 20 or 18, just divide that by 2. So my arm side is about 18, so 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the 9 will be placed at the slope right here. Then we'll go ahead and put the rest of the measurements. Okay, so at this center right here, just go in by 1 inch. Then go in 5 inches again. And on that 5-inch mark, we'll be going down by 4 inch. So make sure that it's directly below the 5-inch mark right here. Okay, so we're now going to be connecting this point here all the way back into the center here. So I just went ahead to freehand draw my sleeve just to see how it looked like, and it's fine. So I'm just gonna use my curve to straighten it out. Okay, so this is how it's looking like. So from this point here, we are going to be putting in our arm side. So like I said, mine is about 9 inches. So I'm just gonna go ahead to measure my 9-inch like so. So make sure that you start from this point right here, then you measure it and go in. Okay, so I have my 9-inch right here. So make sure that when you're measuring it, you follow the curve in here so that you get your exact side. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be measuring our length right here. So mine is about 23 inches from my shoulder to my wrist. It's 23 inches. So 23. Just go ahead and mark it down. Then you take your ruler and then connect all the points together to get a straight line. Okay, so around my wrist was about 7 inches. So 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. So we're going to be marking 3.5 here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead to connect from my wrist all the way to the arm side here. Alright, so this is how it's going to be looking like. So we're not done yet. We are going to be measuring the length of our puff sleeve right here. So this is just to guide me to cut out my puff sleeve. So I want the length of the puff sleeve to be up to my elbow here. That's around my elbow here. From the inspiration I found, it was up to the elbow, so I'm just going to maintain that. So since we're going to be adding elastic to the mid side of the puff sleeve, that whole design you see in the image, I'm going to be adding additional 5 inches to my length, so that when I'm done with the puff sleeve and then I pull the elastic, it doesn't make my sleeve too short. Okay, so whatever length you are going to use for this puff sleeve, add about 4 to 5 inches so that it doesn't become small when you are done sewing it. Okay, from my shoulder to my elbow, where I want the sleeve to stop is about 13 inches, so I'm going to go ahead to add about 5 inches, which will give me about 18 inches. So just go ahead and draw your 18 inches right here. So I went ahead to cut out my sleeve. So I'm just gonna trim out the length here, since we don't need it all the way up to the wrist. And what we're going to do next is that we're going to be drawing lines on our sleeve. So I went ahead to label the sleeve. This is the unfold, so when you're going to cut it on your fabric, make sure that you place the fabric into 2, and then you place the side on that fold and then cut your full sleeve out. Since this is a puff sleeve, we're going to end up cutting our sleeve into pieces. Then we'll go ahead and then spread it on our fabric and cut it out. Okay, so I want to get about 4 pieces of my sleeve right here. So whatever you have at this point, you can divide it by 4 and then just spread them equally at this point. So this is my 4 pieces. I'm just gonna go ahead to draw a straight line. So just take your time and draw a straight line from the point you marked down here all the way to the top. Okay, so this piece is kind of looking bigger, but it's just fine for me. If you still want to add more pieces right here, you can go ahead and divide the side by 2. So this is just fine for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead to label them. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to be drawing our straight line here. It's very important to draw your straight line so that when you are spreading it on your fabric, it doesn't confuse you. So I will definitely show you how to do that. So just draw a straight line like so. Then we're just gonna go ahead to cut out our pieces. Okay, so this is our pieces right here. I'm just gonna go ahead to lay it on my fabric, then I'll show you what to do next. So I went ahead to place my patterns on the fabric, like you can see. So I'm using the satin fabric right here for my sleeve. So just make sure that whatever fabric you are using, you're going to just place it on it and then sew. If you're not so comfortable spreading it on the fabric, you can go ahead, spread it on another paper, then you go ahead and cut out everything before you place it on the fabric, and then just cut it once and for all. But I went ahead to just place mine, then I added the allowance at the top and then the bottom part. I added 1 inch allowance at this part, this bottom part, and then 1 inch allowance to at the top part here. And then the interval between the first and second one was about 4 inches, like you can see. It's about 4 inches. So this side depends on how puffy you want your sleeve to be. So I'll just maintain the 4 inch from here to here, 4 inch, this side to so 4 inch, and then the last side too is 4 inch. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead to cut it out. So I also want to mention that if it's your first time spreading something like this, so that's the reason why I drew a line on my pattern here, so that it will be very easy for me to place it on the fabric. So on the fabric too, before you spread, go ahead, draw like a straight line there, and then make sure that the line on the pattern meets the line on the fabric right here, so that way you get an even spread. Okay, so I'm just gonna be taking out my pin. So after taking out the pin, this is how it's gonna look like. So here was some fold, so when I open it up, it will be one big sleeve. So that's why we used a half sleeve pattern instead of the full one. So we just fold it and then spread it on it directly on the fabric. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to be designing the hole right here so the size of the hole depends on how wide you want the hole to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be dividing this side here, this center here, by 2. So remember, I use 18 inches. 18 inches divided by 2 is 9. So this is the center of the sleeve right here. So at this point, I'll be going down by about 3.5 inches. So if you're not really sure how wide you want your sleeve to be, you can just freehand draw the hole here. Then later, if it's too small for you, you can just increase it before you cut the whole thing out. Okay, so for this side, I'll be going up about 4 inches here. And then I'm just gonna draw the 4 inches all the way to meet back at this point here. So remember, here was 3.5, so you not get up to 4 inches. So when you're done marking, just connect all the points together like you can see me do. If you're okay with the wideness, you can just go ahead and cut it out. So mine is just okay. Okay, so when you open it up, it's gonna look wrong like this after you're done cutting it out. So what we're going to do is that we're going to be finishing the edges of here. So for our circle, you can just go ahead and then fold it in once and then fold it in again. Mind you, we're going to be inserting an elastic at this point here, so make sure that you leave enough space there for our elastics to go in. But that's not what I'm going to do. The folding in twice too helps, but what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go ahead to serge my edges right here. Then I'll go ahead and just fold it once and then sew it down. Okay, so I'm just going to do that and then I'll show you how it looks like. But if you don't have any serging machine, you can just fold it in twice, but make sure that there's enough space for your elastic to go in. So this is exactly what I was referring to when I said I was going to serge and then stitch around this. So I went ahead to leave some small space here so that we'll be able to insert our elastics inside it. So make sure that when you sew it to some point, you leave enough space for inserting in our elastic. Okay, so what we're going to do next is that we're going to be hemming both the top part and then the bottom part of our sleeve. So just go ahead, fold it in twice like this. So you just fold that side in. So this side too, we are going to be adding elastic to both top and down part of our sleeve. So make sure that you leave enough space for the elastic to go in. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead to pin this part and then pin the top. So this is it, guys. I'm done pinning the top part and then the bottom part of my sleeve. Make sure that when you're pinning this side of the sleeve, you know the curve here at the top side. Make sure you take your time to turn it in because I found it a bit challenging at that point. So I'm just going to take it to my machine and then sew very, very close to the edge right here. So just sew it very close. So it's in a way that your elastic will be able to enter inside. So you go ahead and do the same thing for the down part. Okay, so I'm done sewing the top and bottom part of my sleeve. So see how neat it is. So there's enough space for my elastic to go through. So what I'm going to do now is it's time for fixing our elastic. So if you've reached this stage, just prepare your elastic. So I'll be using this elastic right here. This is about 0.25. It's not even up to half an inch. It's very tiny. So I'm going to be inserting it in this round place first before I go ahead to insert it at the top and bottom part of my sleeve. So I'll be using the safety pin right here to pin on my elastic, then I'll just pass it through the circle. So after you're done inserting the elastic, just go ahead and pull it to how wide you want your hole to be, okay? So I'm just gonna pull it till I'm okay with the length of it. So if you're okay, when you pull it and then you reach a point where it's fine for you, you just go ahead and then remove the pin, the safety pin, place them together like so. Sew on it so many times. So you are going to be running reverse stitches so many times on the elastic just to secure the two ends together. Then you go ahead, place it inside and then close the hole you made. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I went ahead to close my circle right here. So what I just did was I just reverse stitch, like I said, reverse stitch on the elastic, and then just close the space that you opened up here. Okay, so that's exactly what I've done. So I'm okay with the way the circle looks like. So make sure that you open it the way you want. So that side depends on you. Okay, so what we're going to do next is that we're going to be finishing the top and the bottom part of our sleeve. My arm side for the top part is about 19 inches, so I'm going to be cutting about 19 inches of elastic right here. And then for the bottom part here, you're going to measure where your sleeve ends. So my sleeve is going to end somewhere on my elbow. So what I'm going to do is I'll be measuring around my elbow side. Whatever I have is whatever I'm going to cut on the elastic right here. You can also go ahead and add 1 inch stitching allowance on your elastic. So if I have about 12 inches here for my elbow, I'll go ahead and cut out 13 inches since I'll be closing these two ends right here. So half inch here and then half inch there. So I'm done cutting out my 20 inch, so 19 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, and then 12 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm just going to be using the longer one at the top side of my sleeve. So just go ahead, insert it with your safety pin, and just pass it through the stitch you made here. Also make sure that when your elastic enters to this point, you're just going to pin it down so that it will be very easy for our elastic to continue moving in there. Okay, so just pin it down in place, then you continue all the way to the other end. So after pulling the elastic at the top part, I also went ahead to pull at the bottom part right here. So at the top part, I ended up pulling the elastic in out a bit because I really wanted that side to hold me, like around my arm. Okay, so if you pull it and you feel like it's too loose, you can just go ahead and pull it a bit more so that when you sew it to your dress or to your top, it fits you very well. Okay, so when you're done pulling it and you're okay with it, just go ahead to secure the ends right here just to hold the elastic in place. So you do that for the top part and then the bottom end right here. And then after you're done securing it, what we're going to do is we are going to place them on the side like this. So you place them right side on right side, like so. Then you just go ahead, pin it down. Then you mark half an inch at this portion right here. Then you go ahead and sew your half an inch here. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then I'll show you how the sleeve looks like. Okay, so after we're done stitching our sleeves and everything, I just went ahead to place it on the dress form so you see how it looks like. I pinned it down on one side of the arm. So look at how gorgeous it's looking. It looks very, very nice. So if you're gonna try this, do let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. So just a quick observation, guys, about the sleeve. So on the pattern, we were supposed to come up by at least 2 inches at this point, because when you place it on your arm and then you pull this side up a bit to sit on your shoulder very well, this side ends up going up a bit. Okay, so make sure that the next time we are drafting the sleeve, we are going to be going up by 2 inches around here. I'll quickly do it for you guys to see, so that when you're cutting it out the next time, you just go ahead and then place the 2 inches at that point. But if you have also gone ahead to sew this sleeve, just leave it like that. Okay, it's not any much difference. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to my pattern and I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is my sleeve pattern right here. So what I meant was we are going to be adding 2 inches at this part, so when we're done sewing our sleeve, it won't end up shifting the bottom side here. Okay, so with a normal sleeve, just go up by at least 2 inches at this point. Then we are going to be blending it in back to our sleeve. Okay, okay, so this is exactly what I meant. Okay, so make sure that the next time you are going to draft the sleeve, or if you are now going to draft the sleeve, make sure to add this 2 inches right here. All right, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Thank you so much to all my lovely subscribers out there. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Have a lovely day wherever you are. Bye.